Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today I'm going to be covering another What If on the Walking Dead TV show. This one is going to start off in Season 2, and it's basically, what if Beth died early? Now, the means by her death are obviously going to be a sensitive subject, so here's going to be your trigger warning right now, and if you've read the thumbnail, you probably already know. But in Season 2, there is an episode where Beth is shown to struggle with depression, and she basically tries to end her own life. This video is not to make light of that or say that I wanted her to do that. It's simply like all my other what ifs, where I just want to see what would happen if it actually occurred. The Walking Dead often deals with sensitive subjects like this, so it isn't too out of the ordinary for me to cover here, but I just wanted to give you guys that disclaimer anyway because I know it can be a sensitive subject. But yeah, so basically we're just going to be doing what if Beth died early in Season 2. So yeah, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's just get straight into the video. This change would begin in the episode from Season 2, 18 Miles Out. Though at the end, when Beth cuts her wrist with the glass shard, it would go deeper. This then sadly leads to her death. After discovering her younger sister in the bathroom dying, Maggie would be crushed emotionally. And because of that, fingers would be pointed to Andrea as part of the reason this happened. The whole episode she had been arguing to let Beth choose, and this choice ended up in her death. So Maggie, Patricia, Jimmy, and especially Hershel are going to be very furious at Andrea for this. They sit near Beth's body mourning the loss, and then Beth would eventually come back as a walker. She tries to kill Hershel, but he is able to get her off of him, which leads to Beth's walker biting Patricia and killing her. This forces Jimmy to pull out his gun and use the training that he got from T-Dog to kill Beth's walker. So now with everybody safe, Hershel sees the group as the cause of her death, and he would try to make everyone leave the farm, specifically pointing out Andrea since she was the main cause. This leads Andrea to want to leave more, as she feels like a burden, and so she begins packing her things, while Dale tries to make sure she's okay. But this just further proves to Andrea that Dale should have left her to die at the CDC. Andrea thinks that she just made things worse for everyone, which, to be honest, she kind of did. But Dale tells her that it's going to be okay, and that everyone makes mistakes. They can convince Hershel to let her stay. She just has to wait. But Andrea yells no at Dale, and says that she's leaving no matter what. Dale then struggles to decide if he should go after her or not, but for now he's gonna stay, while he thinks on it. Back with Hershel, Rick is able to console him and slowly convince him that the group is not the problem. Andrea already left, and she's not going to be the problem anymore. The next day, Rick decides to kill Randall, and Dale is disgusted by the way the group is acting. They throw out a woman for making a mistake, and now they're killing a kid for being associated with bad people. He would argue with Rick on it, but after seeing Rick barely budging like he does in the show, he says that he doesn't want any part in this group. Dale then leaves the farm to try and find Andrea. After Carl sees Rick about to kill Randall, he decides not to, like in canon. Because Andrea and Dale have both left and now Beth is dead, the group is more broken than they were in the show after Dale's death. Thankfully, it means the walker that kills Dale would just be found and killed at some point, without any real difficulty. But sadly, none of these three characters being absent really makes much of a difference for the last two episodes of Season 2. Shane would still kill Randall and try to kill Rick, but Rick still fights back and kills Shane. This time, Rick would shoot him in the face after stabbing him to make sure he doesn't turn, since now he knows that's what happens for sure after he notices Beth's turning, even though she wasn't bit. The herd of walkers then shows up at the farm and leads to the deaths of Jimmy. Andrea does save Carol in the show, but I think either Carol would kill the couple of walkers herself as she did at a weapon, or Lori and T-Dog would, so Carol is safe. After the farm is lost, the group reconvenes without Beth this time. Back with Andrea, I do think she would at some point be saved by Michonne, with Dale also catching up to them. So now the three work together to survive until they are found by Merle. He has the three join Woodbury, but both Michonne and Dale would be very suspicious of the governor. The two try to talk to Andrea about this, but she made up her mind and she doesn't listen. So Dale decides to let Andrea make her own decision this time and leaves with Michonne. While they're out, Merle and his men would hunt down the two, and with Dale not being as quick or agile as Michonne, he would be shot and killed by Merle. This saddens Michonne, but she has to escape while she still can. Back to our main group, not much would really change for most of Season 3. The main difference I see is that the group would have much less hope, as Beth was shown to be their light in the dark during this time, so they wouldn't really have that here. The next real change would be when Andrea arrives at the prison, because Michonne would tell Andrea that Merle killed Dale. This would enrage her, and she'd tell the group this as well, which leads to all of them being kind of mad at Merle again. Of course, these were just his orders by the governor though, and they need him to win the war anyway. Andrea is pretty mad at both sides at this point, because the governor ordered the deaths of the two people she cared most for, and now Rick is harboring the man who did it. Because she is so conflicted here, I still see her hesitating to kill the governor. So this means the rest of Season 3 plays out the same from here, and moving on from that we would have the first half of Season 4, where once again, Beth doesn't really do much. She has some scenes talking to Daryl and Maggie, and her boyfriend in the first episode, but once we get to the mid-season finale, things would start to change a bit again. This is because after the group is split up, Daryl would be alone. During his time with Beth and Cannon, it was pretty obvious that he didn't want to waste time and wanted to stay on the move. This means that since she isn't here, Daryl would have never stayed too long at those houses they did in the original show. Because of that, when the Grady Memorial Hospital people show up to the house Daryl and Beth were in Cannon, Daryl would already be long gone. So that means no one gets kidnapped by the hospital people. So instead, Daryl would probably still end up with the Claimers, or he'd find Rick, Michonne, and Carl sooner. But either way, they would end up killing the Claimers, and the group would end up reuniting at Terminus and escaping to Gabriel's church. Without anyone being kidnapped by Dawn and her people, there wouldn't be a hospital arc at all. If no one gets kidnapped, then no one goes out to find the person who got kidnapped, because no one was kidnapped. This means Carol never ends up at the hospital, and the group never makes contact with them at all. Instead, they just continue moving, so that leads to Noah never appearing and joining our group. Instead, he would die by unknown causes, like everyone else there is stated to in canon. So with that, the group never goes to the place Noah told them about, which means Tyrese gets to survive here as well. Once they arrive at Alexandria, Tyrese would take Noah's place on the team and go on runs. This means that he would eventually meet the same fate Noah did in canon due to Nicholas running away. And by that point, the story has lined up with the original timeline perfectly. So as a synopsis of what happens, Beth killing herself leads to Andrea and Dale leaving the group. They go on to meet Michonne and join Woodbury, but Dale and Michonne leave, and Merle kills Dale. Without Beth, Noah never joins the group, which means Tyrese survives until he dies in Noah's place. So basically, every change made by the death of Beth early on ends up being resolved at some point. We'd see a few characters survive a little longer than in canon before dying later on. But this should kind of be expected, as we're only killing her off in Season 2, where she died in Season 5 in canon. She was kind of a minor character up until Season 4 and 5 made her much more prominent in the series. So if we take that away, it makes sense that we see some changes there, but then, once again, she just dies, so the changes after her death are kind of limited. If she was more prominent in the first couple of seasons, this would have been much longer. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I figured it'd be pretty quick and easy to cover, while still being something interesting to talk about. And once again, this was not made to say that she should have done this, or that I wanted her to, or anything like that, because I actually really liked Beth as a character, especially when she became more prominent. Like all my other what ifs, it's just a thought experiment. I wanted to know what would happen, because characters die all the time in the show, so I figured, why not make Beth die earlier and see what happens. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. But as always, tell me if you liked this video, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.